Alright guys, so we're going to go over some SRTs that seem to be always forgotten about, or when they were released, they just never really developed a huge following. And for that reason, they're very limited production, and they've only have, I'd say, 2 or 3 years worth of SRTs in each of these models. Now the SRTs that I'm going to be going over are pretty much the lightweights. These are not the SRT-8s that we all see out on the streets. The 3 that we're going to go over is the SRT-6 Crossfire, the SRT-4 Dodge Neon, and the SRT-4 Caliber. Alright, so I'm going to talk a little bit about each of the 3, and I'm going to start off with the one that I like the most to the least favorite of mine. So the first SRT that I really like that's not a V8 would be the SRT-6 Crossfire. Now this was a kind of a weird design. It came with a supercharged V6 that had 330 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. It was able to do a 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds and a quarter mile of 13.5. It was able to achieve those kind of times because it only weighed about 3,200 pounds. Now this is a car that I actually was very close to getting. It's a 2-seater, and it's probably one of the most rare cars you can get that has SRT on it. So the next car is the SRT-4 Neon. This quickly became a street racing car, and the reason why is because of the amount of horsepower and the price tag that was attached to getting into one of these things. It came with a turbocharged 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. It had 230 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque. But if you actually do a little bit of research, you'll find out that those numbers are very much underrated. These things were probably putting that to the wheel. It did a 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds, and it did a quarter mile in 14.2. And the reason why it was unbelievably popular is because it weighed 2,900 pounds. And so it really did not take a lot of horsepower to achieve some really amazing stats. So a couple of minor modifications and you had yourself a really fast street racing car. Now the last car that we're going to talk about is the SRT-4 Caliber. Now this by no means is a terrible car or anything like that. It's just my least favorite. It would be one that I probably would never own, but I still think it has a lot of cool features. It does have a lot of nice aggressive styling to it, but of the SRTs, this is the worst performing of them. It has a turbocharged 4-cylinder, the 2.4 liter, and it did see a big increase in listed horsepower at 285 and 265 in torque. It did a 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, and I couldn't find an official quarter mile, but the reason why there was such a drop-off in performance is because it gained about 300 pounds over the Neon, and its official curb weight was 3,200 pounds. Now all 3 of these vehicles are awesome, and I think a lot of times as car enthusiasts, we kind of forget about some of these really unique cars out there. So I thought that this would be something entertaining and kind of take a look back and see some of the other SRTs out there.